ride your own damn ride. It didn't look to me like you'd been in any danger or there was any problem. You just wanted to have a go at someone because you felt righteous. G'day riders, this is Hash.
And Tag.
We're riding in our club colours today. This is our first ride with our full sets. Pretty exciting actually. Hey, what's on the cards for us today? Funnily enough, it's cards. We're on the BSA poker run. Now apparently the most common hand that you can win the pot with in a game of poker is 2 pair. So that's what I'm aiming for today. I don't have lofty ambitions. Alright, stop. Let me stop you there. It was a great day. The BSA poker run is always a good time. Big props to the BSA club for another fantastic rally, which was marred just a little bit by a guy who I think is an a-hole, but you might disagree. I don't know his name. Rather than introducing himself, the first thing he did was decide to have a go at me. Let me tell you the story. We just hit the second stop of the poker run, a little place called McRae's. I was inside the little pub there and he was coming inside. Had a bit of a sour look on his face, so I gave him a nod and a smile, but he wasn't having a bar of any pleasantries. The first thing he did was have a go at me, and he said, the thing with wearing that patch is that you can see who's riding like a dickhead. Now, that confused me, didn't know what he was talking about. He changed tack slightly and said, one of your lot just passed me on a blind corner. I'm still looking at him confused because I don't know what he's talking about. I certainly wasn't there. And he said, could they see? Because I couldn't. So I'm still looking at him confused and I say, it wasn't me. He doesn't know what to do with that, so kind of floats away. Now I know you can picture this guy, full of his own self-importance and never wrong. Anyway, let's unpack what he said, because I think there's a lot of flaws in what he would think is logic. First up though, I just want to say I'm at an age now where stuff like this really doesn't bother me too much. I normally just let it go, but I really thought it would be a good vlog topic, something meaty that would give you guys something to consider. This guy, let's be honest, I have enough wisdom to know that the people that use the phrase dickhead are generally dickheads themselves. So let's unpack it. The first thing he said to me was the thing about wearing that patch. Now he honestly thought that he had his man. He thought that he had the person that had wronged him, but he didn't. He followed that up with, you can see who's riding like a dickhead. Now, there's a lot of problems with that, because if he's just looking at the patch, there's about half a dozen other people wearing the same patch. If he's just looking at the patch, he's not seeing who's riding like a dickhead, as he said. He's just seeing a patch. Now, if you judge every person by one thing, that's the start of prejudice. If you really want to see who the person is that you're looking at, you'll be looking at other things like the type of bike they're riding, the colour of their gear, the colour of their helmet, even their number plate. Not the patch on their back that is the same as a half a dozen other people. I'm not even sure that the person that he thinks was riding like a dickhead was even riding like a dickhead, because at this point, a-hole doesn't really have any credibility with me. Now, when I looked at him, clearly with a confused look on my face, I think he kind of realized he probably didn't have the right person, so he changed tack slightly. And he said, one of your lot just passed me on a blind corner. Now the question I have for you is, am I responsible for what my lot does? And by my lot, I'm assuming he means members of Tribal Nations, the club that I was riding with and the patch that I was wearing. Now I enjoy being a part of a club, having that camaraderie and having fellow riders to hang out with socially and to ride with. But at the end of the day, am I responsible for their ride? Obviously I would want to encourage everybody to ride safely and ride within their limits, But at the end of the day, I think only you are responsible for how you ride your ride. So what are your thoughts? Should A-hole be making me responsible for somebody else's ride? He then went on to say, could they see because I couldn't? Now, I have absolutely no idea because I wasn't there. All he's telling me is that somebody passed him on a blind corner. I have no idea where the corner is. I have no idea if it's a blind corner. What I do know is that there are several corners on that course that actually have lines of sight that aren't necessarily common, but they're clear. Whether that's looking across a field, up around a corner, through trees, and an experienced rider who knows that road would be able to ride those corners fairly safely. Now, I don't know who it was or what they supposedly did. I have a suspicion I know who it was and what they might have done, but I also know that they are an experienced, accomplished rider. So I tend to believe them over a guy who doesn't bother to introduce himself and just has a go at somebody he doesn't know. Stay with me here because there is one more thing that makes me think that this guy is a bit of an a-hole. In an interesting turn of events, this guy passed me on a later stage of the ride. I know he passed me because I actually took time to observe what bike he was riding. So I was traveling at the speed limit and he came up and passed me going faster than the speed limit, which isn't uncommon on motorcycles. What then happened though is for a prolonged period of time, he traveled at 15% above the legal speed limit. And I know this because of reasons. The question I have is, why would a person so interested in the perceived failings of other riders be riding like such a dickhead? So what do you think? Did this guy have every right to have a go at me over something that I knew nothing about, just because I was wearing the same patch as several other riders? I tend to think he's a bit socially awkward. I tend to think that he has a high opinion of himself. I also think he didn't have a right to come up to me and have a go. And I would say, ride your own damn ride. It didn't look to me like you'd been in any danger or there was any problem. You just wanted to have a go at someone because you felt righteous. Friends, if you've stuck with me this long, let me know what you think in the comments. Who was right? Who was wrong? Who shouldn't have said anything? Who should have said more? Let me know what you think. I'm interested.